Hey, and welcome to the Wrap Up Live. This is the official Raptors Republic Live post-game show and podcast where we recap, we dissect, and we have some fun talking about the latest Raptors game you just watched. I'm your host, Sahal Abdi. I'm here with our co-host, Keon Haddad. And this live show is obviously produced by none other than the man wearing the Blue Jays hoodie. The Blue Jays have been playing good, Keon. Maybe if we have enough time, we'll talk about them a little bit. But tonight, guys, we have some good news. Yeah, exactly. Tonight, your Toronto Raptors defeated the top of the West, Denver Nuggets, 125-110, bringing the Raptors record to just 3 games below 500, 33 wins, 36 losses on the NBA season. Last but not least, I ask you guys this every show. If you love the Toronto Raptors, do us hardworking individuals at Raptors Republic a favor and subscribe to the Raptors Republic YouTube and the Rapcast podcast channel wherever you're watching or listening. All right. Keon, I tweeted right after the game ended that as much as it's great to beat the Denver Nuggets, right? This is a great win. Whenever you can beat a top-tier team, right? Especially that being the best team in the West by standing. I don't know if they're still there because the Denver Nuggets are on a pretty bad slide at the wrong time in the season. Whenever you can beat a team like this, it's a great win. But a part of me, and a very, very small part of me, is a little salty, a little irritated at the fact that this maybe should have been 2 wins versus Denver in this past week for the Raptors. Can't take anything back. It is what it is, right? A loss was a loss, and I don't know if Raptors fans still feel the same way I do about that loss. Still a little salty about it, but again, the Raptors proved that they are, built to play a team like the Denver Nuggets. And I saw a lot of tweets as well, Keon, that said, if the Nuggets were in the East or the Raptors were in the West, and we had a 1-8 seed kind of matchup right there, I don't know, Keon. I said with Oren on the last show that I was on that if the Raptors go up against the Celtics, the Bucks, or the 76ers in the playoffs, I consider their playoff journey ended, right?
Easily.
Yeah, 2 clearly
those top
better.
2 more than Philly, but
yeah, exactly. 3 clearly better teams than the Raptors. But again, man, I love talking in hypotheticals. If you had the Nuggets there, somehow, some way, a lot of NBA fans, Keon, talk about how they'd like Adam Silver to kind of move to that to the 1-16 standings rather than just like focusing on conference. It is what it is. What did you think about tonight's game, Keon? There's a lot to talk about. Some huge games from certain Raptors, some pretty bad games from certain Denver Nuggets, and honestly certain Raptors as well, but we'll get into that way later. Who do you want to start with?
Freddie tonight was pretty unstoppable from the start, and he's been with Freddie. It's been a lot with the assists. You've noticed, like, he looks like a much more of a floor general, much more of a playmaker with the ball in his hands. But tonight he was hitting almost every shot, and it's one of those games where all season he's been taking these shots. Really, it's like if he makes them, great, he's praised. If he misses them, which he's done a lot this season, it's wow, let's trade Freddie, let's get him out of here, let him go to Orlando, all this and that. But tonight was one of those nights, and he just coupled along. It was a damn near perfect game from Freddie tonight, and when Pascal didn't have it going much of at all tonight, you need someone like Freddie against a team like Denver to step up like he did.
Yeah, definitely. Fred VanVleet, if you talk about a single Raptor carrying the load for the team, it had to be Fred tonight, especially because, Keon, just before we went on air, we talked about how Pascal Siakam, like, we survived a very, very poor Pascal Siakam game. Like, this was, I want to say, uncharacteristically poor, but Pascal's really just been off the mark for about a month now, for being honest. And I'm not sure exactly what it is. I'd love to just chalk it up to maybe fatigue. I'd love to chalk it up to maybe he's in his own head. Maybe there's something going on. This could just be a rough stretch for him. So, that for me accentuates the type of game that Fred had even more. Huge, huge, huge game. He was a plus 21, which somehow, Keon, was the 3rd best plus minus for the Toronto Raptors tonight. Yeah, that's insane. Plus 30 for Jakob Poeltl, plus 24 for Scotty Barnes, who also had a great game. Yeah, I mean, who else do we start with? Fred was 8 for 12 from three, 13 for 22 from the field, hit the biggest shots when you needed them. You can't really ask for more. And then beyond all of that, Keon, 3 steals, right? All of them again seeming like they're big play type steals where you feel like the Nuggets are. I mean, he got one where the Nuggets were
Yeah.
in position. I believe it might have came off of a Jeff Green pass. I'm not 100% sure. Jeff Green, Aaron Gordon, one of those guys. And he just, I mean, read it. In the passing lanes, he's almost like, who am I going to compare him to for our soccer friends? Are we going to say N'Golo Kante in the passing lanes? What are we going to say, Keon?
I'm not a big soccer guy, but we'll
Oh,
go with
okay.
that.
It is what it is. I mean, yeah, you're clearly a football guy because you have no problem making fun of my New York Jets before we go live. But beyond all of that, Fred, huge game, right? Jakob Poeltl, like I mentioned, did everything right. There was a point in the game, Keon, where I was a little perturbed, disturbed, disappointed, irritated with Nick Nurse with how long Jakob Poeltl kind of sat on the bench.
I agree.
Yeah, Precious Achua came in, didn't do a whole lot of wrong. Like in terms of what we've seen from Precious in the last long while, this game feels like a pretty good stint from him. Again, you wouldn't know that if you looked at the box score and just focused on the plus minus, right? Precious was a minus 13 in this game, which is like far and away the worst. But I don't know if that really describes the type of game he had. Again, it's a struggle for him. It's weird because Keon, sometimes I watch Precious and feels like when OG Anunoby and Jakob Poeltl are out of the game, he kind of has that Jokic assignment all to himself, and he gets dominated like pretty bad by Jokic,
Yeah.
which I mean he's the front runner for MVP. I mean, I struggle saying that because again, we talked about that just before we went live, and I think Joel Embiid for me is the front runner for MVP, not by a huge margin. And people are going to think this is sacrilege and blasphemous, and going to name 1,000 things that should happen to me for saying that. But yeah, I mean, they couldn't stop Jokic when Precious Achiuwa was in the game, which was hard to watch. Pirtle came back in the game. Jokic kind of seemed like with all the banging that was going on defensively with Pirtle and all the running that he was doing from those high screener rolls, Jokic just seemed a little more tired than usual, which was great. Another guy I have to mention, Keon, in this game is OG Anunoby. I mean, talk about efficiency, 10 for 14, right? 24 points in 35 minutes. And again, every time we go up against Jokic, he is the guy who is just left sometimes alone on an island with him. A lot of times they throw doubles at Jokic, and again, he's going to beat you. He found Aaron Gordon for that little kind of dump off bounce pass he always does underneath the net a few times in this game. It is what it is, but I have to give credit to OG because I expect poor shooting performances from OG when we go up against the Nuggets, simply because of the fact that he's using all of that strength defensively, all of that stamina on defending Jokic. So for anyone who plays pickup basketball, not even regularly, just in general, that when you're guarding a much bigger guy offensively, you are just gassed and you feel it in your legs and you see it in your shot. And I didn't see it in OG's shot at all. 4 for 8 from three. Like I said, 10 for 14. Super efficient, Keon. What do you think about OG in the game he had?
I feel like he's almost used to guarding Jokic at this point because it feels like
Yeah.
every time he's went up against him, he's been the primary defender, even when you bring in a big man like Pirtle. But no, he was great tonight, and it's just like he looks a lot more comfortable out there. I remember I talked with Oren a couple shows ago when he first came back, and he was in that rough patch where it just he asked if I was worried, and I said I'm not entirely worried because this is something we've seen from him before. It was something that every time he's been injured a few times in his Raptors career, and every time it feels like he's come back a little slow those first few weeks, and then he gets back into his groove. And tonight, it just felt like he felt confident. He was taking pump fake sidestep threes, and he was just confident in his shot. He was finishing at the rim like him and Pirtle had a great connection going in that fourth quarter where I posted the one play. It was a beautiful play. He gets a back cut from Fred, and Pirtle just throws a beautiful lob to him. He was all over the rim around a guy like Jokic, who's not a great rim protector, but he's still a big player. And OG Anunoby is getting really whatever he wanted when he got around there for those lobs. He was great tonight. And defensively, it's not going to look like he played entirely well with Jokic. He had 28, 8, and 7, but it just felt like that was like the defense led by him. Like he made Jokic work for every single point. That's what you have to do when you're playing a guy of Jokic's caliber. You have to make him work for everything. It's like that with any superstar player in the league, especially now back-to-back MVP. Like it's just impressive what he did tonight on both ends.
Definitely. And you talk about a guy in OG. Like, this is the thing with this team. We say this so often on this show, and you hear it on different podcasts that you watch, and you see it on people's Twitter, that the Raptors have so many different capable two-way players, right? You have OG, you have Fred, you have a bunch of guys, right? Pascal, when he's on, can be a really, really good defender. You look at the game. I want to go back to Fred for a sec, because we talk about OG's two-way level, right? And I think he did as well as you can against Jokic. Yes, at times. I mean, what are you going to do? Jokic is a 7-foot guy who has, Lord knows how many pounds on OG Anunoby in this game. Fred as well. Like, you wonder why the Nuggets shot poorly in this game, and a lot of it had to do with Fred, who took that Jamal Murray kind of matchup personally. Jamal Murray, I'm looking at Jokic. Okay, Jokic went 10 for 13. I mean, okay, right? MVP level guy. It's not really shocking to me. I've seen Jokic have, much better games than 28 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. Still got to give him credit for that, though. Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. are both 8 for 13. So the efficiency was there from those three. And then you look at Jamal Murray, who's 5 for 18 in this game, a guy who a lot of Raptors fans weren't even expecting to play before this game. And Michael Malone, the Denver Nuggets head coach, came out and said, I believe just before the game, Jamal Murray is going to play in this game because he really wants to play in this game. This game means a lot to him, right? Playing in Toronto, playing in his home country. There's a lot of fans here.
He was also a minus 20, which was a team low by a pretty good margin.
Huge margin, right? The next guy was minus 10 with Aaron Gordon. So being a minus 20, he stuck out like a sore thumb today, Jamal Murray. And I have to be honest, and you could see he was 1 for 8 from 3. The 1-3 hit was a big one, right? That elbow 3 where it felt like the Nuggets were cutting down the lead. It almost feels like.
Sorry.
Yeah. No. I was going to say it almost. No. So okay, you go.
By the way, that 3, by the way, I was keeping a track because I don't think Michael Porter Jr. had one pass other than that 3. That was I was paying attention because every time he caught it, it just felt like he would dribble and shoot. It felt like as soon as he caught it, it was ready for like a box out possession over, and that was his only assist. That one's prominent in my head.
Yeah, for sure. And Michael Porter Jr. is like our version of Gary Trent Jr., which is funny enough, 2 juniors. Michael Porter, again, like I said, big game. Going back to what I was saying earlier, you have to give Fred credit because to talk about a guy who offensively carried like this, right? Who had 36 points on incredible efficiency and then also limited who I think is the clear-cut second best player on the Nuggets, which says a lot about their team because, if your third and fourth best players are Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., whichever one you want to put first, you already have a very good team. And then they have very good depth as well, the Denver Nuggets. Bruce Brown coming off the bench. Jeff Green, who I was talking to friends earlier, Keon. Jeff Green, does he age? Because he's one of the few guys in the league. I don't know. He has to be in his mid-30s by now. He's one of the few guys in the league who I feel like his athleticism just doesn't, deteriorate on a year-by-year basis, which is weird, right? I felt like that rule only works for LeBron James. Jeff Green is just, I don't know. He's super athletic pregame. I forgot where I saw it. It might have been a Raptors media member who posted Jeff Green just doing wicked dunks in the pregame. Like that guy is 36. 36 years old, been in the league for a decade and a half, I presume, right? I think he got drafted 2008, right? Maybe 2007. Just doesn't age. Just wanted to point that out really quick. Is there anyone else, Keon, that you want to mention in this game other than Fred? We mentioned OG. We mentioned Pascal struggled a bit. He was a plus 17, which means he wasn't a massive detriment to the lineup, right? Because we look at plus minus as more of a lineup statistic rather than a player statistic. Is there anyone else you want to mention other than those three?
I mean, I do want to talk about Yak a little bit. And
Yeah.
a little issue I've had is I feel like you brought this up earlier, and I feel like he should be in that range. I'm gonna pull up the box score again. I feel like he should be in the range with the other starters. Like, let's look at this here. He has 27 minutes.
Yeah.
And the other starters are playing well north of 35 minutes. And if like he was a team high in plus minus, he was plus 30. And I feel like, and it's been like this since he's been acquired. He's been in that 25 to 30-minute range. And it feels like every time he comes off the floor, the Raptors defense just takes a huge hit. And it's kind of frustrating because it seems like the solution is right there. And it's Jakob Poeltl. He's when he's in there, the Raptors are the best version of themselves, but he has to play those. I think he has to play at least 33 minutes a game. And he's just not been doing that. And tonight he was pretty impactful. He had 12 and 11, 5 assists. He felt like a really good just connector out there on offense, and on defense he was protecting the rim pretty effectively. He had 2 blocks tonight, but that didn't show the full impact of that. And I feel like he just has to play more minutes.
100% plus 30. If it just felt like every time Jakob was on the floor, the Raptors were on a run. That's honestly how the game felt. You look at the rest of the. Yeah, go ahead.
An interesting thing, we heard from Nick in the in I don't know where it was, but he was getting interviewed, and he talked about how Koloko was back, and we were expecting backup center minutes and Precious playing more wing, and we just straight up didn't see that.
We didn't get that. Yeah, we didn't get that tonight.
I was expecting that.
And as soon as you mentioned Jakob's minutes, I looked at the rest of the bench, and I thought to myself, well, who are you going to take minutes away from? And obviously the clear. I mean, the guy who sticks out is obviously Precious Achiuwa, not because he's Precious Achiuwa, but because of the position he plays, right? He played a lot of backup 5 tonight, right? And yeah, you mentioned that Christian Koloko, he's a Raptor, right? He's back with the senior team. He's not with the 905. He's been playing tremendously, especially defensively. I mean, defensively, Christian Koloko is miles ahead of where he's supposed to be. I think as a rookie, you send him to the 905, and he just looks like he doesn't belong there. Normally, with the Raptors, the last 5-6 years, you've seen guys get sent to the 905, and offensively, I can name players like Jeff Doughton. If you can go back as far as Fred and Pascal and all the guys in between, it's usually offensively the guys who stand out. Delano Banton as well. Christian Koloko, if any of you guys are watching these 905 games, defensively, he's a stalwart in that league. And I think, like you said, Nick Nurse mentioned that, Christian Koloko is going to get a little bit of a longer look as a backup 5. And he didn't get that in this game. Could have been simply because Nikola Jokic would look at a rookie like he's fresh meat, maybe. I don't know, right? Christian Koloko doesn't seem like he gets a very polite whistle or very nice whistle when he's in the game. I mean, just he's a rookie big. You kind of expect that. But, maybe this just wasn't the game. I know next up on the schedule, Keon, is the OKC Thunder. So, I mean, that's probably a game on Thursday night where you'd expect Christian Koloko to be more of a factor. But, yeah, Jakob Poeltl, again, I've said this so many times. He's a guy you look at, and I think he has to be around that 30-minute mark, if not a little bit higher. The problem is who stands in his way for that? It's Precious Achiuwa if you're going to play him as a backup 5. And Nick Nurse knows that there has to be a balance there, right? With the developmental reps, Precious kind of learning from his mistakes, trying him out at the 5, trying him out at the 4. But Oren made a good point. I mean, Oren talked about it on the last show, and he said, Precious may just play better, and he has looked better with a 5 beside him, whether it's Jakob Poeltl or Christian Koloko. So, I mean, I want to see it. We'll likely see it on Thursday night. I'm excited for that. But again, this is a huge, huge win against a Denver Nuggets team who you look at every single metric as a team. Offensive rating second. I believe they were first the last time we played them, so they dropped off a little in this 4-game losing streak that they're on right now. Defensive rating right in the middle, right, with the Denver Nuggets. I believe they're 15th in the league. This is a team that's struggling, and the Raptors took advantage. Michael Porter Jr. said before the game, He was speaking about him finding a rhythm. He said, Coach Malone sat me the whole fourth and put me in with 20 seconds left, I think. So it's impossible for me to catch a rhythm then, right? So yeah, it's tough. They're at a point right now, the Denver Nuggets, where they can be taken advantage of, and the Raptors saw fresh meat, sort of like you see on those National Geographic, by the way. Great, just fantastic. Keon, that brings me back. I'm gonna go completely off topic here.
Right.
In high school, when they used to roll those TVs in, and you used to watch those. Are you young? Are you old enough for
yes,
that?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a dinosaur for you.
No, I was trying
to
to understand what you said. I was just like, roll the T. Yes, roll the.
They
TV.
roll. Yeah, sorry, I don't know what I don't know what the thing's called, but they roll those TVs. National Geographic was my thing, man, and I hope anybody can relate who's watching, because that used to be my SH. Blank. Chris Willis, thank you so much. He says smash the like button. You guys hear him. Chris is, man, I got to meet Chris. Chris, you got to come out to some of our Raptors Republic events, because he's always here showing tons of love to the Raptors
You know what we
Republic
should
family.
do? We should have maybe like a couple episodes here and there where we let fans on to
100%.
talk, and maybe Chris Willis can be one of those guys.
Yeah,
I always
for
see him out
sure.
here.
That's a great idea. That's a fantastic idea, Keon. Let's do that. I'm so down for that. We don't have many games left in the season, and I would love to do that before the season ended, but we have so many people who are here after every single show in our live section. We have a live family, which we've created over the last 3 seasons, which is pretty cool. That would be fun. That would be so much fun, because I kind of feel bad sometimes, Keon, because we don't get a chance to answer every single question that's in the live chat. And some people have great questions. We just don't have the time. Right. But yeah, that's a great idea. And I'm going to keep that in mind. And we got to talk more about that, myself, Oren and you for sure, and Aiden as well. What's next? Let's talk. Let's do a little Manscaped ad read. Why not? I mean, you guys haven't heard about Manscaped in quite a while, right? And you can join, for anybody watching, you can join the 2 million men worldwide and use the right tools for the job. Because when it comes to those gonads, those balls, right, those sacred things, you do not want to take any chances at all. Go to manscaped.com, guys. Our code is still live. Our promo code is still live. Wrap up, RAPUP, for 20% off and free shipping on your entire order. Doesn't matter if you're in British Columbia. Doesn't matter if you're in Halifax. Doesn't matter if you're in Peterborough, downtown Toronto. It doesn't matter where you are. RAPUP, wrap up for 20% off and free shipping on your entire order. And also, guys, it doesn't matter what you purchase as well. It could be $10. It could be $50. It could be $100. You don't have to get. A lot of people have been asking, do we have to get those massive $200, $150 bundles for your promo code to work? No, you do not. Like I said, it could be anything. There's actually no minimum. You could use that code on anything, RAPUP, wrap up, again, for 20% off and free shipping on your entire manscaped.com order. Thank you to Manscaped for helping support this show. Keon, I need to use Manscaped, right? I need to use it. I can't lie. A couple.
I didn't get sent any Manscaped from when they sent them out to us. So
you didn't get any?
I didn't get any. They don't send it over to America. I guess they only send it to you guys. So
Oren probably, I'm going to blame Oren. He probably got an extra package and just kept it for himself. No, I'm playing. Oren's a great guy. Oren's a great guy. What else do we have to talk about? Let's see. Anybody else really, Keon, that you want to mention in this game? I mean, it wasn't a great Chris Boucher game. We didn't really mention tons of negatives in this game. Of course, Pascal Siakam, because it's a negative we kind of have to mention. Chris Boucher just wasn't maybe like all there. Again, he was 3 for 4, but I feel like you could get a lot more from Chris Boucher. I just view Chris Boucher as just that spark plug who I expect 10 points from every single game at the minimum. He's the guy that just brings you energy offensively, defensively, does a ton for you in that aspect of the game. I know someone in the live chat, Keon, mentioned, and thank you to Azim Ali, who mentioned the article Samson Folk wrote on Scotty was incredible. And it was amazing. Absolutely. Please visit RaptorsRepublic.com, guys. Samson, one of our best writers, he put so much work into that Scotty Barnes piece. If you're listening to this the next day, please, and you haven't read it, please do.
Great.
Like
months of work.
Yeah, he said it in his tweet. He put months of work into it. So please read that if you haven't already. If you are a Scotty Barnes fan, if you are a Scotty Barnes detractor, which there's very, very, very few of those in the Toronto Raptors fan base.
There's a lot outside though.
Yeah, there is.
There is. Go to that article.
100% there is. Read that. Visit RaptorsRepublic.com for all of the latest Raptors news. Keon, before we go, do you want to let's answer some questions? Have you found any really good questions that you want to answer in our live chat for any of our viewers watching? Let's see what we got.
This is a fun one. You want to do this
Chris
one?
Willis. We got to start with Chris, of course. And Chris asks probably the most sarcastic question we've got, maybe in Wrap Up Live history. He asks, how much would Otto Porter Jr. bring to the Raptors? This may not be that sarcastic. It may be a thing where Chris is asking him, if he was healthy, how much better would this team be? And I genuinely think they would be much better. Simply from the fact that Otto brings you shooting, which is something that the Raptors have struggled with a ton this season. It almost feels like this season every Raptors kind of having a career low shooting the ball. Again, guys are starting to warm up. In the last couple months, Fred's warmed up, OG's warmed up, right? Pascal's cooled down, right? So you're seeing a little bit of both. Gary Trent is always that guy that's going to be up, down, up, down. But yeah, Otto, he was huge. I said during the offseason, as soon as we signed him, that this is the signing of the offseason for the Raptors. This is the best possible offseason move they could have made. Big guy, 6'8" or 6'9", long wingspan, right? Shooting a 3 at a 40% clip. But again,
that would be huge.
A guy who struggled with injury, and then the toe injury just kept him out. So to answer your question shortly, Chris, Otto definitely brings this team to another level, especially because of the fact that the bench has been a weak point for the Raptors this season. What else do we got, Keon?
Want to do some Blue Jays talk?
Blue Jays. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not gonna cap for the crowd. I'm not a massive Blue Jays fan. However, for what it's worth, for my app, The Score, they are in my notifications. I do check them every single day to see if they've won, right? So that gives me a bare minimum as a fan. But I have noticed that they've been winning. I know the last game they played, I think it was yesterday, huge win versus the Boston Red Sox.
That is spring training.
Oh, okay. See, this is what I'm talking about. See, I wouldn't know that.
They're winning big in spring training.
Which is preseason, right?
Yes. There's the World Baseball Classic going on. That's kind of getting us through to the season.
I saw that as well.
Did you happen to see Canada score last night?
I did not see that, but I did see Canada's jerseys, and they are horrific. I want to point out.
I like the hats. I don't like the jerseys. The jerseys are not great.
Yeah. Hats.
But last night, we got mercy ruled by the United States.
Was it bad? How do I
even check? It was, I believe, 11-1, 12-1. After the 7th inning, they can mercy rule it, and it was mercy ruled. But today, let me tell you, Canada beat Colombia 5-0. So if they want to advance past the group stage, they have to win tomorrow against Mexico. Mexico's a tough team. So I think it'd be either the first or the second time ever making it past the group stage.
Is Christian Kirk Mexican?
Alejandro Kirk?
Or sorry, Alejandro. What did I say? Christian Kirk.
The receiver? Kirk?
Jacksonville Jaguars receiver. Yeah, I am just my brain is scrambled right now. Christian Kirk. Lord have mercy. Alejandro Kirk. Is he Mexican?
He is, but he is not doing. He was supposed to be on the team, Team Mexico, but
Okay.
he had a baby during spring training, and for
Okay.
catchers it's tough because they need to like get used to every single pitcher on this team, and there's a lot of pitchers on the team. So he was
Okay.
late to spring training by a week, or maybe I think 2 weeks, and that therefore he decided to take the extra time to be with the Jays spring training to be with all the pitchers instead of go to the World Baseball Classic. So he's
Okay.
not on Team Mexico
Is
right
there
now. But
is there any
Mexico's
other?
good team.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there any other players on that Mexican team that are
From
like worth watching?
Toronto,
No, just
Randy
generally.
Rosarena. Randy Rosarena is on Team Mexico.
Okay.
He's big, and I can't really think of anyone else. Canada has they're not great either. They do have Freddie Freeman. If you've heard, of Freddie Freeman?
I've heard of Freddie Freeman. I have, but I'm laughing at Azim Ali's comment. He said Christian Kirk Loco. Yeah, brain scramble. 3 different leagues.
That's 3 different
Completely
leagues.
gone. That's 3 different leagues. It is. Freddie Freeman, first baseman. I don't know what. I think he was on the Braves.
Dodgers.
I don't know if he's still there.
Dodgers. He was
He's
born
a
and
Dodger. Okay, he's on
raised
the
in
Dodgers.
born and raised in America, but he's on Team Canada because of his mother who passed away. So that's great.
Oh,
But he
no.
did get hurt. He got hurt today. His mother was Canadian and embraced it, and he wanted to honor her by
That's
playing for Team
incredible.
Canada. So that's great.
I
And
love
he got
that.
injured today, sadly.
Oh,
But
no.
and I don't know if he comes back because he's probably worried about the actual season. I don't know if he wants to risk injury, but he's been great. He's a great player, and I'm hoping he can at least get to the good page.
Is he Canada's best player?
Yes, by far.
Okay.
By far.
Is there anyone else that's not on this Canadian team that like rivals him in terms of talent?
That's not on this Canadian team? Like any other player?
Any other player?
He's I think probably the best first baseman in baseball. I'd say he's better than Vladdy. I'd say he's better than Vladdy right now.
Okay. All right.
That's good. But the Jays I'm very excited for the Jays upcoming season. I think they have World Series potential. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's worry about the Raptors.
Yeah, let's worry about the Raptors. Everyone's wondering now: is this Blue Jays baseball talk, or is this a Raptors show, Raptors podcast? We switch it up here and there, guys. Come on, you can switch it up here and there.
Blue Jays live this summer.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll try to get it going.
Blue Jays wrap. Okay, no, Blue Jays. No, okay. I'm gonna think about one. We'll switch it up here and there. All right, Keon. It's been 33 minutes, and we have recapped the game the best we possibly could. A fantastic game again. To go back for Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, 2 great games from them. Scotty Barnes, who honestly we didn't touch on much in this game, who had a fantastic game as well. Took advantage where he needed to. 8 for 16 from the field, 18 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal.
That our tax fan?
Just a typical great game for Scotty. Taxman.
I think it's pretty obvious. I'll put it on the screen for you.
I mean, you say it then. You say it.
Fred VanVleet, absolutely great. You know, when he has one of these nights, because we see how he plays when he does not having one of his nights where he's missing contested pull-up threes with 15 seconds on the shot clock, how bad it can be. So when he has one of these games, we should praise it, and we should give him the tax man because these games come around, but we don't know how often they're going to come around. It's very volatile. But today it came around. He's the tax man.
Fred VanVleet is your Can-Am tax man of the night, and you can see it, guys, in the top right screen if you're watching live. Visit canamtax.com. You could call 416-243-2912 as well for Can-Am tax, any sort of things, guys. We're still in tax season, and if you're an accountant and you're watching this, if you're an accountant and you're listening to this, part of me feels sorry for you because I have one of my closest friends is an accountant, and he complains nonstop this time of the year about how much work, what his workload is like. So, I mean, I'm sending all the love and all the sympathy in the world to you guys. Visit canamtax.com. Your player of the game is Fred VanVleet. We're going to wrap it up there. If you haven't left us yet, please do not leave us just yet. We need you to subscribe to the Raptors Republic YouTube, as well as our podcast channel, The Rapcast. Like it, comment, because I do look at the comments even after we go live, and I try my best to respond to some of them. This was the Wrap Up, your official Raptors Republic post-game live show, where tonight your Raptors defeated the top of the Western Conference Denver Nuggets 125-110, bringing the Raptors record to just 3 games below 500. I believe they still stand, and you can fact check me here, Keon, 9th in the East.
One game
big
back.
log jam. Yeah, 1 game back. Big log jam.
Atlanta took no opportunity from our losses. They just did not capitalize. They are not doing good, even with Quinn Snyder.
Yeah, Quinn Snyder's not going to help that team. Just absolute fraud of a team. Live show was produced by Keon Haddad. That was it for myself, Sahal Abdi, again here with my co-host Keon. We'll see you all on Thursday night versus the OKC Thunder. Love watching OKC games simply because the best Canadian basketball player breathing will be on the court, hopefully. I haven't been keeping up with OKC. I don't know if he's going through injury or something else, but you would hope that Shea plays.
He doesn't play back-to-backs, and that is not a back-to-back. I just looked, so he should be good.
All right, then looks like we're good to go. We loved having each and every one of you here with us, spending time with us on a Tuesday night. And if you're listening to this on Wednesday, we love you as well. Thank you for tuning into the Wrap Up Live. Keon, any last words?
Fins up.
Okay, no, we're not ending it like that. See, I'm not doing that.
Why not?
We're not doing that because we're not Dolphins fans. That's why.
Speak for yourself.
We're Jets fans on Wrap Up Live, right, everybody? All right, take care. Have a good one. Me and my co-host Keon wish you all the best. Take care. Bye.